Hello and thanks for being here. My name is Kyle Eric, and welcome to a new episode of A for Able. So today we're going to be talking a lot about health insurance, living with disabilities, and discrimination. And that's all thanks to my two returning guests, Tails and DJ Steady. They've both been up here before talking at length about their own personal lives, but here we pretty much stick to what it's like dealing with the medical side of things. And me myself, even though I've had to deal with it myself, there's still a lot I do not know. So you're going to, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see my face just in complete shock. Shock and disgust. If you're listening to this on Spotify and other podcast platforms, you're going to just hear the disdain in my voice because I know a lot of people can relate. And if you're brand new to this channel, this is the things that we tackle. We tackle mental health, we tackle living with disabilities, and we tackle how we navigate the world around us that does not seem to be built for us. And with all that being said, let us begin this latest episode of A for Able. All right, so I want to open the floor to whoever wants to start it off. When was it, like, can you recall, maybe not the first time you've experienced any kind of like discrimination or anything like that, but what was that like for you, if you can recall a particular moment that sticks out?
I think for me, it was as early as 14, which is when this started showing up, but we didn't really know. So I used to go to a summer camp. My lovely friends would call it Jew Scouts. It was a Jewish summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I never really talked about this, but I always had anxiety going to summer camp. Not like, oh, are my bunkmates gonna like me or anything, but so, and this also plays into my Hashimoto's, my rheumatoid arthritis, and all that good stuff. So when I was 9 going on 10, we were going away to sleepaway camp for the first time, because from like age, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 until age 8, we went to Holiday Hill up in Prospect, I think. Is it Prospect or Cheshire? But our grandparents would, I know I pass by there all the time, but so my grandparents, knowing how bad my uncle was getting with us, wanted us out of the house. So my grandmother looked into it, and she wanted us to have more of a connection to our Jewish roots. My father's side is Jewish, my mother's side is Roman Catholic. So they paid to send us to a Jewish summer camp. My uncle was a massive scumbag, now has the mentality of a 4-year-old and doesn't understand, but I digress. So he was very physically abusive to us growing up. And so he realized he was not going to have his opportunity to be a monster. So when we got up, or when my mom would go out for breakfast with her friend or coffee with her friend, I apologize for rambling. Feel free to cut this short whenever you need to. But she would go out to coffee with one of her friends every morning. So she got up at 5:30, left the house, and we were still fast asleep. She was going to treat us to McDonald's for breakfast, because I was obsessed with their sausage. Still like it, not as much as I used to. So I woke up at probably about 6 o'clock by being pulled out of bed by my hair and slamming to the ground, with my uncle screaming at me that my mom had abandoned us and now he was stuck with us. So in Jewish summer camps, the Friday night, because the Sabbath, we would have to wear a white shirt and then go to a service. So my mom packed white shirts for us, nice white shirts, nice khaki shorts. We were going to look nice our first day. So my uncle forces us to get dressed, didn't watch us or anything, so nothing sexual because I don't want to make an excuse, but he was outed. And so, Molly and I, my sister and I were growing up in a world where we could be ourselves if we wanted to love men, if we wanted to love women, if we wanted to love everyone. It was becoming more and more acceptive, whereas he lost all of his friends because they found out he was gay, and it turned to abuse. So he forced us to get dressed, dragged us outside, gave us each a butter knife, and for the next hour and a half in the sweltering sun, we were cleaning out the gunk between the sidewalk cracks until my mom came home and flipped her shit on him. So I always would have this anxiety the first day of, am I going to get yanked out of bed? Is this going to be where he does something? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm 14 going on 15, and I'm helping my bunkmates out. I'm helping carry all their heavy shit. I'm lifting up the heavy things, putting away the trunks, pulling up their heavy bags, all that stuff. And, it's about 9 o'clock at night, and I'm starting to fall asleep, but I wake up to absolute agony in my arms. Like, it's burning, it's stinging, I can't fully extend my fingers, and I'm sobbing throughout the night. And the counselors are looking at me like I'm just looking for attention. My bunkmates are mad because I'm not letting them sleep, but I was in pain. And unfortunately, I realized over these last 2 weeks, I was having an RA flare-up. And it's like, no one really understood and was just treating me like I just was using it to not go on hikes. And it's like, no, I'm actually really fucking broken. I just realized it, 20 years later. And
But
unfortunately, it doesn't get any kinder.
so wait a minute, hold on. So this was your first flare up?
Yes, but we didn't know it was a flare-up. We didn't know I had rheumatoid arthritis.
And it happened at summer camp. And this was your first time at this summer camp?
Oh, no, I had been going since I was 9 going on 10. I had said that my very first summer there, my uncle dragged us out of bed, and that would give me anxiety.
Oh, okay. So all right, I'm just trying to connect the stories. So because of that experience with your uncle, you already had anxiety about just going to bed, just going to camp.
Just because you don't know, like, he was really convincing, telling us, your mom isn't coming back. You're gone. She's gone. You're mine now. And we were fucking petrified. So it was always, am I going to wake up and he's going to be over me? Am I going to wake up and, because I don't know how to say this properly without throwing my family under the bus. Money could go missing very easily, especially with my uncle. Like, he happily went into my wallet and would, like, yank whatever he could. He stole my debit card and overdrafted it buying cigarettes. So I was terrified that maybe one day, I don't know, maybe he called the camp and canceled it and took the money for himself, and, I'd have to spend the summer alone with him.
Wow.
So there was always that fear. Oh, things only got worse when I hit my 20s, don't worry.
Wow. And what about you, Steady? Can you recall a time where you experienced discrimination that sticks out to you?
Okay, discrimination that stuck out. Man, not really, not really per se, because a lot of my issues that stood out was, not being able to play the sports I wanted to play. Or, well, there was this one instance, I want to say about middle school, when I wanted to be part of the Special Olympics, and my mom went to sign me up. I'm born with spina bifida. You think, yeah, sure. But because my level of advancement with my condition, I was considered like not special enough for the Special Olympics, and I wasn't allowed to participate. So yeah, for me, it was like, who tells a kid you can't participate in the Special Olympics, even though you have a disability? It's physical; you can clearly see it. But yeah, you're too special for it, and you're too advanced.
Wait, whoa,
Weird flex, but okay.
Okay. I think I might have figured out the title of this episode. So, yeah.
So just enjoy my little stonerness.
I love it.
This is actually from my boyfriend's father.
I love it.
Even worse.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that phrase for a second before I go into my story.
Let's get toasted.
Not disabled or special enough.
Well, let's throw in you don't look disabled or you don't look that way.
Right.
Exactly. What the heck does that mean? When I was a kid, and I talked about this on the very first episode, we did in 2019. My mother talked about this as well. When I was first put into this, like when I first went to school, they thought immediately that I was going to be, wheelchair bound, or I was going to need more help than I actually did, because at the time, that's all you saw when it came to like CP. You know what I'm saying? So, or just disabled in general. They're thinking disabled automatically means you need more help. You need like the maximum amount of help, or you can't write, well, or you can't think well. Like they thought I was basically going to be, I was a special ed kid, but they thought I was going to be the stereotypical special ed kid. Right. So one day, they noticed that I wasn't playing like the other kids, right? They wanted to keep me back in kindergarten, right? I wouldn't know this until later on in life, but apparently they wanted to keep me back in kindergarten because I wasn't socializing like the other kids. They didn't think my social skills were up to par. So
That's 'cause kids are assholes.
So my mom was like, wait a minute, is he doing his work? Yeah. Is he participating in other projects? Yeah. So why do you want to keep him back? And this is one thing I wanted. This is one thing I wanted. Like, I'm glad like we talk about like mental health this much, today. But before it was like, okay, you're expected to be at a certain level. I was an introverted kid, They expected me to be a stereotypical disabled kid. I was just an introverted kid, right? It's crazy. Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend and I were talking about this. Especially like with us growing up, it was always, well, you don't act like a certain way, you don't do a certain thing, and then it's also the boys don't cry, girls like cute pink things. Mm-hmm. My boyfriend, Kyle, you've met Dennis.
Yeah, awesome guy.
Does he look like someone who likes cute, cuddly things? Like if you did not know him.
If I didn't know him, I would probably, I'd probably have that bias, like, he's, because he's a big and tall guy. So it doesn't, so the bias would be there,
So my boyfriend is about 5'11", watches Dragon Ball Z, plays video games all the when we first were dating, we were playing tons of Halo together. And he likes like Tool and Primus. My boyfriend's obsessed with seals. My boyfriend will literally cry over cute seals. And we're talking about it. Right now he's out playing Magic the Gathering. I draw the nerds.
Big nerds.
And he's like, should I bring my normal mat or should I bring the Spiel mat you got from me? I'm like, honey, bring the Spiel mat because it makes you happy. He goes, yeah, but they'll be like, honey, who gives a fuck? Do you like your Spiel mat? I love it. Do you have seal dice to go with your Spiel mat? Yeah. Bring it all and have fun. He has, we call it the Mana Tree. It's an ugly Christmas sweater, but it's all manatee shaped like a tree. But there's so much. You don't look away. You're not supposed to act like this. You should be acting like this. Not only with disabilities, but just our society in general.
Facts.
I'm a twin. We're nothing alike.
So getting back to that infamous term, you don't look blank enough. You're not special enough, disabled enough, or whatever. Anyone ever had to sign anything medically, like for those of us who are on benefits, the wording in the papers you got to sign, they're ridiculous. Like when I look at those papers and I have to do like regular, just like regular renewals and stuff like that, they act like this disability is just going to magically change within a year, within a year, within a year or 5 years. What's the deal? I want, like, one of these days I want to talk to a lawyer or somebody who's well versed in disability law and these, and things like that. So if anybody out there is listening, I just want to know, what is up with the verbiage? Like, why is it that they do not take into account people who are permanently disabled or who have been born as such? They only seem to take into account people who are, like, the verbiage anyway. I'm not trying to single anyone out, but the verbiage seems to really it seems like, trying to interpret it, it seems like they only talk about people who have been in, say, accidents or things that are temporary. When I try to tell someone that this is something I was born with, it's not something that just happened, even though my particular condition can happen to anybody. It's like pulling teeth,
Right.
So I think one of the reasons is kind of like they're hoping that maybe you'll forget it or you'll miss the deadline, and then they'll make you jump through hoops. And while you're jumping through hoops, they're not paying you. They're not giving you the benefit because you missed it. Like I'm on FMLA because, especially in the winter, I can't function. And I'm speaking with my doctor and like, yeah, you got to do this every year now. It is also, I have a medical card because I'm disabled and I have to renew that every year too. And it's like, this isn't going away. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be going, I'm
cured. Right. Especially when you got to fill out for parking permits and, you got a set time period to get those put in. Then you have to you got to go back and redo it and go, well, you still got to go see your doctor for your doctor to sign off. And it's like, again, it's physical, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it, some mental, whatever. I'm not saying that, but the case is, why do you have to go through all these hoops and hurdles to prove who you are?
Because they want to discourage people from it. So something I was going to mention, because we were talking about insurance and how they offer certain plans. So my insurance company, I had to do a wellness checklist or something like that, or a survey, and then I got like $50. What I didn't know is that then led to them calling me. I was in the middle of a really bad flare, and nobody tells you this, that one of the fun parts of Hashimoto's is depression. But I mean, you're not surprised when all you can do is lay in bed like this and just pray to God it calms down. So I'm speaking with my insurance company, like, oh, we're going to talk to your benefits person because I had to take a pulmonary function test and my insurance refused to cover it. And that's $1,000. The reason I was taking it is I have asthma. And at the time I was on a medication called methotrexate, which can damage your lungs, which luckily, no damage. In fact, my pulmonologist compared it to my 2022 pulmonary function test. He's like, I'm looking at two different people. But so I'm speaking with the benefits coordinator, and I said to her, why didn't you cover my pulmonary function test? Well, insurance is supposed to be used in instance of a catastrophe. No, it's not.
What?
Yeah. I'm literally on the highway. I'm just past, I guess it's exit 18 now, because, they're not taking into consideration I work, and I work far from home. But so I'm like, all right, call me at 6, and they're calling me at 5:30 up my ass, and they're like, oh, well, your insurance is only to be used in a catastrophe, in a crisis. And so I'm like, you know I have an autoimmune disorder. Like, that's the first words out of my mouth. Let me show you guys something really quick.
Man, you learn a lot. You learn a lot talking to people, I swear. But it's unnerving.
Guess how much this is.
How much is it?
For
those. Ooh, okay. For those who are listening, she is currently showing us her. Is this your medication you have to take?
This is one of my medications. This is called Enbro. It is an injectable. So there's a needle in here. I have to twist the cap off, pull my skin tight in my stomach, and stab it down. And then you can see right here, I have to wait for this all to go yellow, and that's when the medication is in me. Guess how much a month's supply is?
I'm gonna say just roughly 1,200.
Go higher.
This is
15?
a month. $3,500.
3 G's.
I was being nice with 1,500.
Right, dude. You were being generous.
So, the company that makes the medication is called Enbrel. They have a plan, they have a promotion or a card that luckily I have no cost. I think if I had Medicare or Medicaid, I don't think it would cover it, or they would only cover partial, and then Medicare or Medicaid covers the rest. There is also, I don't know if you guys have any experience with Medicare or Medicaid, but Medicare Part D is for prescriptions. And there's something called a donut hole, which after a certain amount of time, you run out of benefits and you can't use them for medications. So imagine being on this, and I can tell you, I wasn't getting the full effects because my body does not handle methotrexate well. So I've had 2 injections while off this, and it's night and day. I'm not in as much pain. I'm able to function a bit more. And this is life-changing. If I were to lose my insurance, I don't know if I could have this. And for someone from the insurance company to tell me that I shouldn't be using my insurance for this, eat shit and die.
How? Okay, but so you were recently on bed rest for a bad flare up, right? Like really bad,
Since
really bad.
I was officially put on bed rest February 25th, but I've been flaring up since Christmas.
And how long did it take them to give you this combination of medication?
So the thing is, I've been very, very adamant about wanting to start a biologic because I was feeling, well, I can go into the whole story, but I think we should save that for like when we're talking about like issues with the medical field, because I've got a fucking biography on or not biography. I have a fucking novel. I have the Encyclopedia Britannica on all the bullshit I've dealt with doctors.
I just recently had to go through the hoop of, being an amputee and was told, oh, your insurance is not going to cover your prosthesis. And then if they do cover it, here's the stipulations. Like, you actually have, like, your doctors along with yourself actually have to convince the company that's going to give you the leg that you actually need it. Like, it has to be, and then you're not actively.
You and I will talk later. You and I will talk later. My hobby is making insurance companies cry.
It took you how long to get your leg after the amputation?
With almost a year coming up, I didn't get my leg till the end of February.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Did
they allow you any other mobility aids, anything, or like?
It gets worse, right? I have a standardized wheelchair, and I was given the opportunity or offer to go, you can get a power chair. But lo and behold, here's the stipulation with that. You can't get a prosthetic leg and a power chair. So it's either one or the other.
That's worse shit. So here's the kicker.
Wait, what? Wait, hold
Bro,
on.
You and I are going to be talking later. I'm the DME girl. I got you.
Okay.
You can sick them. I'll sick them. Yeah, you can sick me on them. I make them cry for giggles.
Why do you have to choose? How do you?
Well,
Why do you have to choose one or the other?
they're bastardizing same and similar.
Exactly.
So if you were to get, say, a rollator and then reach out for a wheelchair, your insurance will deny that because, well, we just gave you a rollator. You need proof that this has gotten worse. Or I see you have a standard nebulizer, or no, you have the high pressure nebulizer. Why do you need the standard nebulizer? Just like with CPAPs, they will not pay for a travel CPAP; they'll pay for a normal one. And it's like, well, why are you trying to get another one? You just got this.
Because I'd like to be able to travel and be able to sleep without fear of dying.
So the thing is with CPAPs, you can just bring it on with you. So they see it. Basically, if you were to have a CPAP and you were not to put it on as your carry-on, you void your warranty.
Why? How? What?
So if you put it with just your regular luggage, there are risks that things could happen to your CPAP, and you're not gonna be able to see it. They may not secure it. You may watch them throw your suitcase while you're in the plane, and that suitcase has your CPAP. You're not taking care of it properly. But here's the kicker. Are you guys familiar with PAP therapy at all?
I know.
Well, so have you heard of a SoClean machine?
Yeah.
That voids your warranty. A SoClean machine is basically you put it in this box and it's like UV rays that clean it and sterilize it.
Mm-hmm.
If you use that, it voids the warranty of your CPAP.
But
it causes deterioration of the supplies.
Oh.
So while it looks great and it sounds newfangled, the fact of the matter is, and I will show you this, because my partner is on a CPAP. This is not the right one, obviously. I don't know why he bought it, but Dawn with the Duckies, no scent, works just fine. You can do 1 part water, 1 part vinegar, just fine. It is, unfortunately, a lot of it is, oh, well, this is a newfangled invention that might work, but it may also cause decay of your equipment. And they're fucking stingy with CPAP equipment too, because you only get a new headgear every 6 months. That thing wears out like that. I will say this until I'm blue in the face, and I already wiped it off, so we can't use that joke. Insurance is a scam. One of the most well-known CPAP suppliers is called ResMed. Do you know who owns ResMed?
Who?
United Healthcare.
United my foot.
Unite my ass. They don't do shit other than take your money. Like even right now, I'm on Brio and I'm paying, because I hit my deductible, I'm paying $20 a month for it. They normally charge me $90.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in shock right now. Because growing up, there was a lot I did not know. To this day, even living on my own and having these, and having this condition and being on, and being on benefits, there's so much I did not know going in. Right? So it's good to have somebody on the inside, but dang.
If you guys ever need anything, just give me a call and I got you.
For real, like I'm on Molina here in Houston, Texas, and it sounds good. Like you said, they make it sound good on paper. It sounds good, but it's bullshit. Like at the end of the day, it's all bullshit. Because even getting like home health care and you're approved, but you can only get 3 to 4 hours in a run of a week.
Yeah, that was with my grandparents. My grandfather had dementia and he had night timers. It was really bad. But my grandfather owned his own business. He had Medicare, he had a Blue Cross Blue Shield supplemental. I think they had AARP, and anyone, I think it was over 70 in New York City, don't quote me, but I think they were on Husky too. With all of their insurance, my grandfather could only have an aide for 4 hours. So my grandmother would say, oh, well, I need an aide too. So they would combine their 4 hours into 8 hours. But even still, it's like, okay, from 8 to 5, and then what about after 5? That's when my grandmother needs the most help. And I mean, to this day, I wish they had overnight care because maybe my grandmother would have survived. She'd had a stroke in the middle of the night, and she passed 2 weeks later. But yeah, and like I'm sitting there, like I was on the phone with them because my grandmother didn't drive. My grandfather was the one that always drove, and he couldn't take care of himself anymore. And it's like I'm on the phone trying to get them rides to doctor's appointments, rides to the grocery store, having, groceries delivered to them. And it's terrible, like even the elderly having to jump through hoops.
I'm looking at the way things are now and what our government seems to be cutting. And you'd think in a room full of people who would be considered geriatric, right? You think I'm just saying. All right, I'm just saying. You think with the age in which a lot of these high-ranking officials, including the president, you'd think they care more about the elderly, but probably because they can afford it. That's probably why they don't think about it. You know?
Have you heard about? I think it's like called boiled crab theory or something like that.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually heard of the theory. Could you elaborate on that, please?
When you have a bunch of crabs in a pot and the water's starting to boil and one crab starts to climb out, instead of helping the crab, they pull it down. I think that's what it is in a sense of, well, we can do okay, but fuck you, you stay where you belong. Those elderly and the other elderly aren't the same as them.
Yeah.
They don't need as much help.
Pacifications can be another, and on another note, like me being incontinent with spina bifida, and I had to have an argument with the people that send my supplies. Like, first of all, I only get 2 packs of wipe per month in the run of a delivery. And then I don't even get enough supplies to carry me from month to month. Like, they come every 25th, 26th of a month, and supposed to last to the next 25th, 26th of a month. Mind you, I'm arguing that, okay, well, with the supplies, the level of incontinence, I'm now an amputee. So, of course, quite frequently, I'm going to the bathroom more than I normally probably would have. And I'm like, well, I have to double up. Oh, you shouldn't be doubling up. You shouldn't. There's 8 per bag. I'm like, there are only 8. 4 bags. There's 8 per bag. And you only send me 4 boxes.
So what do you do?
I have you have to either make it work the best way you can. It's like, look, you're going to be soiled all day because you have to try to limit what you got to stretch so far. And then they go, well, we can fight for you to try to get you some more, but oh wait, your insurance is not going to cover for any extra you might need.
I'll be right back. Excuse me for a few moments.
Okay, while I mull that over, you guys are turning this episode into me going, what, why, what?
Please allow this stand-in. Damn it!
I swear, editing this is gonna be like I don't think I'm gonna edit much because this is just man. I'm learning a lot today because I don't know what. Often I worry about, well, not worry, but I often think about what this is going to be like for me when I get older, right?
Right.
And yeah, like I'm pushing 40, but at some point, hopefully, I reach 60, 70, 80 years old.
Right.
What is that going to look like for me or for Steady or even for Tails? Because these things are not going to be, I mean, granted, I'm seeing I'm seeing different tests and things being done with with different treatments, and they seem to be working, but who knows if they're going to get approved? And even if they, who knows if insurance is going to pay for it?
Insurance ain't paying for dick. I'm going to show you that now. Right. These
Okay,
aren't
so for those who are listening right now, Tails went off screen for a little bit to get what looks to be what are you writing?
Things for later.
Okay.
Things that we'll be discussing later.
Okay. That's great. See, I thought I knew what to expect. I don't know what to expect, and you know what? I'm loving it right now.
Well, that's just because you kind of just sat him with the pit bull, and the pit bull doesn't like when people are bad to people who need help. So, rawr. If you prefer, I can grab Charlie or Vaggie.
No, either way, either one's fine. But these shorts are going to be hilarious. Just saying, because I make shorts for the videos.
Momo came out very cute.
Oh man, if I was doing a live stream, I would be asking the audience, like, listen, what do y'all think of this, and have you experienced any of this? We're definitely going to be doing another, we're definitely going to be doing another one, because this rabbit hole, we've only just begun. I know.
Yeah, imagine if we can do this at a con. Disability and cosplay.
I'm game.
I'm game.
Devil of the Shield at your service, as well as Eastermer from Fire Emblem Heroes.
I've seen disabled fans with cosplay. Like I follow this one girl. She has a wheelchair, right? And she makes
Misa?
the wheelchair part of the costume. I forgot what her name was.
Is it Misa on Wheels?
Possibly. Oh, I follow her too.
Yeah, I'm friends with her on Facebook.
I follow her too. And that is like the amount of things I've seen disabled people do versus the expectations still that people have and bias that people have is like it's honestly amazing. Like, for example, Steady's a businessman and has been, before we even met, right? And he's, continuing to do, like, how many shows per week?
7.
7? Oh,
every night.
Yeah. 7 shows per week. And Tails, you've been working in the field that you've been working in since
2018, October 1st, 2018.
And honestly, what got you into that field?
So, funnily enough, I just wanted out of retail and I wanted full-time work. And this company took a chance with me, and it was amazing up until I got sick. I was the golden goose. During the pandemic, when things are really bad and I'm still getting their numbers up and, I'm doing all this great stuff with them, but then I'm in the hospital. And then I'm asking to work from home because I have no immune system. And I need 2 weeks off because I need surgery. And I went from getting $500 bonuses and being praised to, why aren't you doing as good as you used to? Okay, so at that time, the only thing we knew I had was asthma and PCOS. So, but I, of course, did my due diligence, took my FMLA of, hey, so especially in the cold weather, I could get really sick. And my RA wasn't showing yet. Like, the most was my hands would swell when it rained, or I'd get really achy, and that was it. But it was things I could work through. So they were holding it against me that I had these uncontrolled medical conditions that no one was listening to me over. I mean, when you want me to tell the whole story, I'll happily go into more detail, but it's being a woman, being a bigger woman, you're ignored a lot.
I've had friends that have had that still to this day are going through that as we speak. Steady. So I have a question. And I don't think we've ever asked this. I don't think I've ever asked this question, but have you ever had like a regular job?
Nope. Nope,
Lucky.
never, never had to. You know, because you get, and again, you get opportunities of going. Yeah, you can get a job, but you know, you can work under the so many hours without
Hours.
affecting your Social Security disability check. And so, well, why even try?
It's no, that's no, I get it. Like I had to, I had before I got my benefits, because it took me about 3 years to get benefits. I was working 2 jobs, right? And while having the little bit of money I had was all right, it was also hazardous to my health. Wouldn't notice until, till like afterwards, like my like sometimes like on one job I was standing for most of the day, right? And no matter how many how many stretches you do, like I will admit it, I got lazy. I would hate stretching because it hurt me. I'm always tight. So my thing, what I mean by what I mean by that is my muscles are always tight. Okay, the
Right.
See,
let's see.
I knew where you were coming from. Not all of our minds are in the gutter. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait, is this a pause moment or what?
It will
But
give you a pass because we know who you are.
for real. But thank you. But yeah, my muscles are always tight. So even when I stretch, it hurts. Like it's worth it when they get some relief. But like I have a low. Well, my family thinks I have a high tolerance for pain. I don't know, but I had to stand up for most of the day. I'm in a warehouse store doing food samples for 6 hours, right? And I had to, I had to stand for most of the day. By the time I got home, I'm tired, right? I'm tired. I'm barely eating. My feet are killing me. I'm getting a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of money per, per whatever samples I'm doing, and it just, and I like the job, but at some point I had to, I went to my doctor, and she could already tell. And this is our first meeting with a new doctor. She looked at me, and I told her that I worked 2 jobs, and she looked at me and she said, how long do you think you can keep that up? Right? She looked at me and it's like, do you have another year in you? I'm like, I don't know. And what stunk is the job was, I had student loans at the time. That was, that was paying off the loans. That was paying off the loans. I had money for money for myself. I was living with my parents at the time, so I didn't have to, so I could help out a little bit, and it just, it just stunk when I had to finally. Well, first off, I was happy when I finally got the benefits, because like I said, it was a 3-year thing. It was a 3-year battle. It was 3 years of proving to our good people at the government that I was disabled enough, and because I got that too. Like the first time I tried to get benefits, they basically told me, oh, because you can feed yourself, clothe yourself, bathe yourself, you basically don't deserve that, don't deserve this, or we can't offer this to you, but we can offer you food stamps, which was great because at the time it was like late 2015, early 2016, and stuff wasn't as expensive as it is today, so I could buy some eggs if I wanted to, but but
I have eggs in the fridge right now. My wife wrote to me, when do we get egg money? Fuck you. I need to make my meatloaf.
Man, you see, like you see these like these skits of people like, hey, you want to impress your significant other? Buy them some eggs. Just give me some eggs.
I saw one where a woman was getting her nails done and she was paying with eggs. She goes, "This is for you," and gives her an extra egg. I'm like, really? Like we were talking, because for the first time I was able to get up and go grocery shopping this weekend. It's like, well, they're not $7.62 anymore, but I mean $5.62 is still a bit.
Man.
And it's like also in the other parts of the world, it's like in Mexico they're like $2.67. The fuck? Like, don't
I
bullshit us.
I don't get it. Inflation period. That's like inflation period, especially what's going on today. That's because of greed. That ain't because of supply
Yeah.
problems. That's because of greed. You
Oh yeah,
kidding? You
it is
out
full
of,
on.
out of here. Man, it doesn't make any sense for anybody. And just like with Steady said, with him getting his wipes and insurance not paying, and insurance not paying for it, what's he got to do? Send you a sample? The heck is he got to do?
Do it, do it,
You gotta have
do
a
it.
videotape of him going through the day and like, yep, another emergency, and I need some. Oh my God, I'm out of wipes. But this was a
Bruh,
2 month.
it kills you because then you go, I want to go out, I want to go do this, and you're like, I'd rather stay home because you never know when the time comes. You got to go to the restaurant to handle your business, and you're like, damn, I done ran through four more, briefs than I was supposed to in the run of a day because I wanted to go hang out. That should not be an issue.
Nope, you're on my list. Don't worry. You think I'm
No.
kidding?
No, I love it.
Ask
She
Essie.
ain't
I'm the pickle.
she is not kidding. She is not kidding. But like, and thanks to both your stories, I've been learning a lot because, like, I'm not afraid of getting older, but I do often think about it, because I can feel it. I know, I know I'm getting older. Like, I've always kind of felt like an old man, you know,
So
but that feeling is real. Like, but thinking about it, when you do get, like to that 50, 60, 70 range, hopefully, you know, what is that going to be like? I've seen people with our conditions living life and having fun and stuff like that. But also with this insurance BS, it gets kind of like, it makes me go, what are they, what are they planning next? Because, we're the older generation now. So what are they planning? So what's happening? What's going to happen? What's going to happen later on? What's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to the generations after us? It's ridiculous.
I guess fortunately and unfortunately for the generations after us, because there are people like us, they're gonna have it better. They're gonna wake up and go, my hands feel really tight and I can't move them right. Or my biceps are burning and I haven't done anything. Why is my back on fire? And they're gonna look back on like maybe even this video and go, holy shit, I'm always tired. I have asthma. I have PCOS. Hey doc, do I have Hashimoto's? Can you take my blood work and check my rheumatoid factor, see if that's high? If it is, can we maybe look into this?
And with that comes an end to another great conversation. I know that this particular conversation could go on and on and on. One of these days, I do feel like we will find a solution, but I thank everyone involved. Once again, big ups to DJ Steady and Tails for participating, and thank you for listening and or watching on your platform of choice. This is A for Abled. We're on Spotify, on the audio, and we're on YouTube.com. So, for everyone that was watching and or listening, if you prefer to, yeah, if you'd like, subscribe to our channels. We're on Spotify as well as any other platform of choice, and we are also on YouTube with our new YouTube channel, the A for Able podcast. And with that being said, see you next time, next episode.